I would not recommend making these blondies for anyone, because once you do, they won't stop asking for the recipe. 1 stick melted butter, 1 cup brown sugar, half cup white sugar. Cream it together till it gets super pale and fluffy. Plop in 2 eggs and a little more vanilla than you should. Add in 1.5 cups of flour, a half teaspoon of baking powder, and a pinch of salt. Honestly, the hardest part of this recipe is just not eating the batter before you bake it. Can't forget the chocolate chips. Mix it together and plop it into a square baking dish. Bake at 350 till it's nice and golden. Look at that shiny, crispy top. There you have gooey, delicious, easy blondies. These are the best. I will never stop making these. Instant crowd pleaser, and it's too easy. The easiest, best dessert ever.
Making shit I've never baked before to prove that baking is easy, today we're making croissants. The time has finally come. Every single one of you said that this would be the one that humbles me. We'll see about that. So why did it take me so long to do this? Well, first I wanted to come home so I could use my parents' stand mixer and rolling pin. There's absolutely no way I'm failing this, so I'm taking every precaution. And second, I needed 2 days I could dedicate to this, and now that I'm on break from college, it's time. These are probably one of the easiest things I've baked in this whole series. All it is time consuming. I'm following Claire Saffitz's recipe because I need a recipe I can trust. Croissants embody everything I've been trying to preach in this series. Baking is just measuring shit and following directions. If you thought my ego was high before, after today, it's on a whole nother level. Honestly, I wish I could fail just to understand what normal people feel like, but I guess I might never know. When they came out of the oven, I knew right away y'all are gonna be pissed. I mean, the inside looks like the goddamn Fibonacci sequence, and the taste is perfect. Once again, bacon ain't shit, I am a god and my ego is still thriving. Making shit I've never baked before to prove that baking is easy, today we're making eclairs. Nearly every website I checked claimed that eclairs are one of the hardest things to bake. With my ego still high on life from the macaron video, I knew I had to try this. Not only do I not bake, but I also don't own any fancy equipment like a stand mixer, so I'm doing this all by hand just to embarrass bakers a little bit more. The only flaw today was that the parchment paper burned in the oven, which I didn't even know was possible, but that's not my fault. Nonetheless, the pastry turned out incredible with a big gaping hole in the middle for me to pipe up. And don't even think I'm using store-bought custard. I'm making sure all the bakers around the world fear my name, so this is all homemade. I topped these off with some chocolate glaze, and holy guacamole, are they perfect. Once again, baking ain't shit, I am a god and my ego is still thriving.
You have to make this cake. I'm calling it an everyday butter cake because you probably already have all the ingredients for it. It's simple, very vanilla, comes together really quickly and easily, and it's the kind of thing you make when you're in the mood for a simple treat or you want something with your coffee or tea. It's got a crispy sugar topping and it's so fluffy.
Making shit I've never baked before to prove that baking is easy, today we're making sourdough bread. One of the most highly requested recipes I've ever had. Y'all really thought I was scared of it or something. You wanna know why it took so long? This fucker right here. The coveted sourdough starter. I had to feed a mason jar every day for the past 2 weeks just to make some bread. You know what else I could have done in 2 weeks? Bought 14 loaves of sourdough bread. Nothing about this process was difficult. I was just getting annoyed I had to work my entire day around doing folds on some dough. Although I will say this once and only once. It was a kind of fun process in hindsight. To everyone that commented asking me to make this, why are you so scared of it? I'm willing to bet you can make it on your first try too. Don't let nobody tell you you can't. Make it your bitch. I know I certainly did. After what felt like a lifetime, it was finally time to bake it. I scored it with a pretty little pattern and it came out looking like the best grilled cheese I was ever gonna make. This cross section could win awards. Once again, baking ain't shit, I am a god and my ego is still thriving.
Cinnamon roll cheesecake cookies. This is basically a cinnamon swirl cookie filled with the cream cheese frosting that you would top your cinnamon rolls with, but instead of a messy cinnamon roll, all of the frosting is neatly packed inside of our cookie. Also, I just wanted to thank whoever commented for me to make this because I know everyone loves my strawberry cheesecake cookies, but this one is at the top for me right now. And as always, the recipe is on my blog, identicalrecipes.com, which is linked in my bio.
Baking shit I've never baked before to prove that baking is easy, today we're making an apple pie. Before you come at me for not making a pumpkin pie for the spooky season, I really just wanted a challenge and pumpkin pie would be too easy. I need to make sure after every video of this series there is no doubt that I am the best unranked and uncertified baker in the world. I want all bakers watching this to comment desserts that took them forever to get right. To make things even harder, I don't own a food processor or a rolling pin, so I'm using a blender and a bottle of water. You see, baking is so simple, I don't even need all the necessary equipment. Shout out to Natasha's Kitchen for the recipe. To add a little extra fuck you to all that doubt me, I'm doing a lattice top because I'm petty. Not only did this come out looking delicious, it also tasted incredible with a perfectly cooked bottom. Once again, bacon ain't shit, I am a god and my ego is still thriving.
I'm gonna show you how to make 5 ingredient edible cookie dough at home.
It's literally cookie dough.
Start by heat treating your flour. And that just means chucking it in the microwave for about 30 seconds to a minute to kill any of the bugs. Pour it into a bowl along with your brown sugar, white sugar, and a pinch of salt, making sure to give it a really good whisk because heat treating the flour can sometimes make it lumpy. Add the melted butter, milk, and vanilla, mixing until a dough forms. And if your dough's too dry and it's not coming together like this, you can add a little bit of milk at a time until it comes together into a proper dough. And you could go crazy with the mix-ins, but I just went with some dark chocolate chips. The full recipe for this is going to be in the caption below, and while you're down there, tell me what mix-ins you'd put in your cookie dough.
Today we're making a super simple chocolate cake, and it's so easy to make. It only takes 4 ingredients. This is the greatest chocolate cake. First, we're gonna mix together 28 crushed up Oreos, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1 cup of milk. Pop this into a 350-degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. Place this back into the oven for a few minutes until the chocolate slightly melts. And there you have it, a simple chocolate cake.
Baking shit I've never baked before to prove that baking is easy, today we're making panettone. Let's talk for a second about what the hell panettone is because I had no idea. It's bread with dried fruit in it, basically just an Italian fruit cake. I'm willing to bet at least 80% of the people that challenge me to make this have never tried it before. I mean, do people actually eat fruit cake? Either way, this one was hardly a challenge. In fact, the hardest part of making this was trying to find the paper liners to bake them in. You guys do realize all the bread recipes you have me do are about 20 minutes of hands-on work and hours of just waiting, and in the end these come out looking and tasting perfect. But I never fail, so no surprise there. Once again, baking ain't shit. I am a god and my ego is still thriving.
Baking shit I've never baked before to prove baking is easy. Today I was making chocolate chip cookies. As always, these came out perfect. Once again, baking ain't shit. I's a god and my ego's still thriving.
Deadpool and Wolverine just came out and it got me thinking. I've never had chimichangas before. I figured there's no better opportunity than to try them out today. Don't worry, this video is spoiler free. Wolverine dies. A lot of people have asked me if I like Marvel, and my answer is always yes, but what I really mean is I know about Spider-Man and everyone else doesn't mean shit to me. Speaking of, Andrew Garfield was hands down the best Spider-Man. I love Tom Holland, but I've never wanted to rewatch one of his Spider-Man movies until Andrew joined the picture. I couldn't follow along even if I wanted to anymore with all this multiverse crap. I'm just assuming that they chose to use chimichangas because it sounds funny when you say chimi fucking changa. Other than that, they're a pretty mid-tier Mexican food. The movie was great though. I'm on a mission to find a 10 out of 10 sandwich. In the previous episode, we tried Jersey Mike's, which wasn't that great, but today, upon popular demand, we're trying Firehouse subs. You guys were split between the hook and ladder and the meatball sub, so I got both. Also, quick PSA, because this happens everywhere I go, my name is spelled L-O-U-I-S, not this bullshit. Alright, first let's try the hook and ladder. This looks extremely promising. Already better than Jersey Mike's. This one's solid. Alright, next up the meatball sub. This looks beautiful. And by beautiful, I mean kinda shit. The shape is not very pretty. You do get a pickle on the side though. This is an okay pickle. Okay, the meatball is actually pretty good. It all really just disintegrates in your mouth. Overall, Jersey Mike's gets a 7.2 out of 10. Let me know what else to try in the comments.
Today I'm going to show you how to make my favorite sweet treat, a soft-baked Oreo. You're going to start with 4 eggs, 2/3 cup oil, and then you're going to take 2 cake mixes. Devil's food works best. Use a bowl and put all of those ingredients in it. I love a good slow-mo action, so I'm giving you some sweet, sweet slow-mo here. Then you mix it all up, and then to roll out your parchment, take a spoonful, roll it into a ball, and then take a spoon to knock them down into like a flatter surface. Throw them in the oven at 325 for about 10 minutes. Then take them out and let them cool. Once they've cooled, you're going to take some frosting and you're going to pipe little spirals on it. You can actually buy the frosting pre-bagged at the store. Then take another cookie, lay it on top, and oh my goodness, it's the best treat ever.
Probably never heard of it, but this right here is called cloud bread and it only takes 2 ingredients. We start by combining some egg whites, sugar, and cornstarch in a large bowl and whisking it till we have stiff peaks. Now we add in a little blue food coloring, mix it up, and then transfer this to a baking sheet and throw it in the oven. And there you have it. Let me know if you would try this.
I'm going to show you how to make foolproof French macarons. If you don't know me, my name is Matthew. I won the macaron challenge on Food Network's Kids Baking Championship, and I used to sell macarons at grocery stores. This is the base recipe that I use, and it's never failed me. We're going to start by measuring out 2 cups of powdered sugar and a cup of almond flour and sifting it together till there's no lumps. Then you're going to take 3 room temperature eggs, separate them very, very carefully. Gets a little tricky. Pop that into a mixer and start whipping it up. Gradually add in a little bit of sugar till it gets nice and glossy, and maybe a little food coloring if you're feeling crazy. And whip until the egg whites have stiff peaks. You should literally be able to take the bowl and shove it over your head and nothing will come out. We're gonna fold in those dry ingredients in 2 incorporations and very gently pipe out the macarons onto a non-stick baking sheet. Bake them at 315 for 20 minutes. A lot of people make a big deal about weighing the ingredients and having everything be super precise, and they're probably right, but I do it this way and they look perfect every time. I took some strawberries and made a really basic jam, and there you have some foolproof French macarons. Perfect every time.
Here's how to make the most amazing cinnamon roll mug cake. Mix together all the ingredients for the cake in a small bowl until smooth. It's up to you how many mugs you want to split it between. Make the cinnamon swirl with butter, light brown sugar and cinnamon. Then pour half the cake batter into a large mug followed by half the cinnamon swirl mix. Pour the rest of the batter on top and smooth it out, then pipe on the rest of the cinnamon mix. Mix together sugar and cinnamon, then sprinkle this all over the cake. Microwave until there's no wet batter left. Remember, all cooking times are a guide, so please watch your cake so it doesn't overflow. Enjoy!